Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Just going to wait for you guys to tune in. How's everyone doing? Good morning. Good morning. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time, definitely comment so I can give a shout out. Good morning, P. Martins. Um, Good morning, Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Good morning, Perfectly Peace. Veronica says you always slay your hair. Thank you so much. I mean, I try hard for you guys every day. Um, Someone said I need help, Obi Cubana. That's hilarious. Barbie, good morning. Thanks for joining for your first time. Queen Warrior, good morning. Um, let me just get right into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration lawyer here in the United States, specifically Atlanta, Georgia, and I represent clients all over the U.S. and internationally if you're trying to immigrate to the United States. So we handle humanitarian-based cases like VAWA cases, T visa cases, U visa cases. These are all paths to get a green card. We also handle family immigration. So marriage cases, fiance visa cases, naturalization, siblings, parents, children, things like that. We also do appeals, waivers, all of that good stuff. So if you'd like to schedule a consultation, my number is 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751 to schedule a consultation. If you're tuning in when I'm not on live and it's just a recording, it's right there in my profile. And if you are on Facebook and YouTube, you should be able to see it scrolling through the ticker. Epistle, no, I don't handle EB2 cases. As of right now, I don't do any labor and employment related immigration. Labor and T I do, but I don't do any investment or employment-based green cards. Gabby says, my attorney said he forgot to send my I-864 Dove bill with my adjustment of status from VAWA. Will I have problems if he sends it separately? You shouldn't. He can send it and ask that your application be amended to include it. What I would do is after he sends it and he has a tracking number for receipt showing that it's been delivered, I will have him take a step further and just reach out to the VAWA attorney hotline inquiry and specifically attach that cover letter, delivery proof of delivery, letting them know that this was sent to amend the file and you just wanted to ensure that it was amended and put with the right file. He or she should not send it without first getting your I-360 receipt. Just in the event that it doesn't get to them or for some reason it doesn't get put with your file, just keep in mind that you most likely have another opportunity to send it after your VAWA is approved and before they make a decision on the actual green card. They'll either send you an RFE to bring it or ask you to bring it to the interview. Okay. Adewale on YouTube says, good morning. How long does it take to get biometrics for work authorization for a valid petition? Honestly, I can't really say. I mean, it could take a couple of weeks, it could take a couple of months. Patrice says, good morning, more blessings to you and your team. Thank you so much. And same to you. Hi, Amelia from Philadelphia, long time. Chef David says, guys, she's my attorney for my 10-year green card, and she's really good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Chef. What kind of food do you cook? He says, Chef David. Melly says, my green card expired 15 years ago. I have a 21-year-old American citizen son born here. How can I adjust my status? So when you say it expired, I would love some context, because your green card expiring does not mean that you've lost your green card status if you're in the United States. So I guess really the first question is, this entire 15 years, have you been in the United States? Did you just fail to renew it? Now, if you're saying that your green card terminated for some reason or the other, we need to know, why was your green card terminated? Were you out of the country for a long time and they terminated because of that, or it's another reason? So there's so many variables to answer your question, but let's say it terminated because you stayed out of the country for more than a year or whatever the case may be. Your 21-year-old can definitely file for you. So again, it will depend on if it was expired or terminated, because expiration does not mean that your green card is terminated. You can still try to renew it or file for citizenship. Okay. I have not received any prima facie since 22 months. I applied because of not having an attorney. Nadede, this is one of the reasons why it's really important to hire an attorney or a competent legal professional. I mean, obviously, if you're in my live, you should hire me. But because, I know that a lot of times we think, well, it's just a form, I'm going to fill this out. But it's not just a form. First of all, this is your life. This is your future. You have to be very strategic in your application, and you need to understand it from the ins and from the outs. Yes, you can watch a YouTube video to learn how to fix your plumbing, or you can hire someone who's been plumbing all their lives or for years and knows how to identify problems. If you've not gotten your prima facie in 22 months, it means that there's something missing in your application to make you that fits within the categories, which basically I'm always trying to look for layman terms to use instead of legalese. But basically there's a standard, of proof of each level to even get a prima facie determination letter. You might be missing something there. I'm happy to have a look at your file. If you don't have a copy of your file, we can FOIA it and see what you submitted, and then determine what needs to be submitted. But the first thing I would, want you to do is also to reach out to USCIS, because if they're not going to give you your prima facie, then they should give you an RFE telling you what's missing. But we can also do a FOIA to find out what's missing and proactively send it and request a prima facie based on everything else that's sent. Okay. Hi, Jenna on YouTube. She says, good morning to one of my favorite immigration lawyers. Thank you. Hi, Susan. Good morning. Mumuni says 2 years now, and I haven't received my EAD. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what kind of case you have. So I'll definitely be curious to know what kind of case you have. Make sure that your EAD was actually submitted. I would definitely say 2 years is for sure above processing time. I consider that to be a long time. So we definitely want to see what's going on with that and why you haven't gotten it. What does it mean if USCIS sends you an RFE, then they cancel the RFE? Typically, it might mean they no longer need that information, or they found that information. Believe it or not, sometimes USCIS misplace files. Like, I remember an officer calling me, after we had basically lambasted them about why we've not heard anything for one of our clients. And then the officer called me and was like, I'm just going to be honest with you. We lost the file. Can you resend the file? So it's possible they lost it and then they found it, or didn't think they had it and it was there. So I wouldn't really put any stock to it, as long as you're certain that what they canceled was the RFE and you received a letter confirming that they have canceled the request for that RFE. With USCIS, it's just really always important to document. There are a lot of changes happening right now with USCIS, with, the forms that have just changed, the prices that have just changed. So, the streamlining of some files online, versus paper. So this window, you're definitely going to see a lot of mistakes here and there. So you just want to always keep your paper trail or paperwork of everything that you submit to USCIS, basically. Okay. Have you experienced a valid case process in 24 months without an expedited request? I have. I'll say in the hundreds that we've done, only 2. We've seen 2 without an expedited, but one of them, I know the reason why it went quickly. it was USCIS's error, and I literally had to reach out directly to the supervisor for that one because they made a mistake on something with that case. The second one was just stroke of luck. That one was 18 months. Was it 18 months? Yeah, I think it was about 18 months or like 17 months or something like that. But otherwise, most of them are usually between the 24 months. One of the things that I tell clients who get impatient and are waiting for them to make a decision is that you also have to remember that while your case is processing, you still very much, if you applied for work permit and travel permit, have a similar benefit to a green card holder. And the reason why they give these things is to allow them to work on those cases because there's so many cases that are received. So if you have your work permit and travel permit, it's essentially no different than a green card. Well, I mean, it's different, but you understand what I'm saying. Those are the core and the most important things for people to move around freely and to work. So hopefully that can at least, hold you to wait through the normal wait time. Now I'm not saying that you should wait if the timeline has passed and it's exceeded processing time. If it's exceeded processing time, it's always a cause for concern and to follow up with USCIS, like, what's going on. But if it's normal processing time based on published average and most attorneys average, I wouldn't worry so much if you have a work permit and a travel permit already. Okay. Good morning, attorney. How can you prove good moral character if you have a criminal record? Well, it depends on what kind of criminal record you have and how long ago it was. One of the things when I have people with criminal records, one of the things that I always recommend that they do is that they should get letters of good moral character from people who know them. So if you volunteer in any kind of organization or capacity, if you're a member of a religious organization and you go to church, you're a standing member of the mosque or a church or wherever, you can always get a letter from them. Or if you're a student, get a letter from teachers just showing that you're a person of good moral character. And it depends on, especially if the crime was a long time ago, and then you, based on your own personal affidavit, you can attest to your good moral character, whether it's you paying taxes, even though you don't yet have your legal status, you being employed and not wanting any handouts, they're just different things. It just all depends on, the crime and how recent it was. How can I receive divorce from West Africa and I'm in the US? We don't handle divorce cases, so I can't help you, but that already gives me a cause for concern. Y'all, I'm really tired of this whole Nigerian divorce thing. I know you Nigerians, listen, I'm Nigerian, okay? So if I want to talk about what is going on with Nigerians, I can. Because I know Nigerians sometimes get upset with me when I'm like, y'all, you need to get it together, But this divorce thing, it's literally not going anywhere. I've told y'all, USCIS literally has a unit dedicated to reviewing your divorce decrees. If you were getting a divorce decree from Nigeria or any other country in West Africa, or Africa for that matter, you want to make sure that you follow due process and have a proper divorce. We cannot cure a fraudulent divorce. We cannot cure an improper divorce. America is a country that does not support polygamy. So even if you're not properly divorced and you marry somebody else, in this country, it would be considered an invalid marriage because you cannot have more than one wife. Now, in Nigeria, it might be valid if you marry somebody else, where polygamy might be allowed, depending on your religion or whatnot, but it's not here. So it is really, really important that you file divorce properly, if you must file it out of the country. But before you file a divorce out of the country, you first of all want to make sure that you're not able to file it here. Divorce is not a federal law. I don't practice divorce law, so I can't really tell you, what's valid in your state or not your state. But there are very many states here that will allow you to file your divorce here, even though your spouse is outside, and there's a process of service and all of that stuff. But honestly, if you must do it in Nigeria, do it properly. Get an attorney. If you didn't use an attorney, that already is your first red flag, you know? That's your first red flag. And then there are other things which is literally a whole other life, you know, that one has to look at to know whether this is a fraudulent divorce or not. But y'all, it is not worth it. There's nothing, you know, I was just talking to my associate attorney today, like there's nothing more painful than building a building and then just finding out like there was something wrong with a foundation, you know, like after you've gone through all this person has a slam dunk case and then you see this divorce decree. So you really got to fix that. So Rose, if you're getting a divorce from West Africa, make sure it's authentic. Okay. All right. Do I need to renew my work permit when I get my 10-year green card? This is actually a really good question. So no, your work permit is no longer valid once you get a green card, because a green card essentially means you're a permanent resident of the United States. So you don't need to use a work permit anymore. You already have a green card. And 5 years later, or depending on how you go your work permit, or 3 years later, your work permit, your green card, you can then apply for citizenship. But basically, your green card takes the place of a work permit and a travel permit. It means that you are a legal permanent resident of the United States. The only things that you're not eligible to do that a U.S. citizen will be able to do is run for office, you know, be a part of the jury, or vote in an election. But otherwise, you're very much treated as a permanent resident of the United States, right? Can you assist with a spousal visa? And if no issues, then how long will it take? We assist with spousal visas all the time. You know, spousal visas right now are actually moving really quickly. We're definitely seeing like 6 to 12 months. We're definitely seeing like a 6 to 8 month average. I mean, knock on wood, for a lot of people. It doesn't mean this is everyone, but we're definitely seeing that with the newer applications that really started going out after they decided to bypass a good amount of interviews, even though we've definitely been seeing more interviews being scheduled now, especially interviews where the marriages are have passed the 2-year mark. We see more bypasses with cases where the clients have not been married for 2 years and they're getting just a conditional green card. And then the 10-year ones is where we're seeing more interviews for. What if they keep renewing your prima facie for 180 days each time? TPC, that is normal. So your first prima facie will be given for 1 year, which is 365 days. And every other prima facie after that would be 180 days, so 6 months. So it will continue as 6 months renewals until they make a decision on your case, okay? Do you take cases for international students? No, I don't. Do you do work visas? I live in Thailand. Unfortunately, we don't. Argdal, I don't. I can't explain business green card since I don't do that. Does it matter having same state ID for your marriage, green card process? I'm not sure if I understand your question. You know, when you say, does it matter if you have the same state ID? Do you mean you and your spouse? You know, I mean, it helps your case definitely if you and your spouse live together, if that's what you're asking. And, you know, typically if you're scheduled for an interview, they will ask both of you for your IDs, and they want to see that you guys live in the same place. Or if you don't live in the same place, they want a logical reason why you don't live in the same place. Okay. Adewale on YouTube says, how many months does it take to get a work authorization for a valid petition? It takes 4 to 9 months. You know, definitely seen some quicker timelines, 4.5 to 6.5 months, or even some quicker, like, you know, 3 months or 2 months. Those are not the norm. So I would say, you know, you'll feel most confident within a 4 to 6.5 month average as the average. I'm seeing 3 weeks on my case till final decision. Do you think that's correct? I don't know. Sometimes they can put that, and then at the 1 week mark, they might increase the time. So those are never really accurate. Um, How long after the I-130 case is approved will the I-485 be approved? Most times, they usually are approved on the same day, unless there's a reason that your I-485 is not being approved, which could be there's something that there might be an inadmissibility issue. So yeah, that would be what it is. But typically, they're usually approved on the same day, unless there's an inadmissibility issue. It's been 3 months since they received the response to the RFE. Should I be worried? It's for an adjustment of status case. Yeah, 3 months is not really it's not really a long time, but you can definitely do a follow-up. You can definitely do a service inquiry to confirm receipt, just so that they know that you're checking in on it, and sometimes that can help bring your case forward. But 3 months is not a long time, but you can this is also a good time, since it's been more than 90 days since you've heard from them, to do that. Sophia said, please, I think you missed my question. Okay, so if you just want to type it again, because the questions go so fast. Kennedy, I'm your client, 3 months and still no EAD renewal receipt. Yeah, that's definitely a long time. Send me an email, because I don't know who you are. And let's check and see what's going on with it, with your case. What if I answered this question already about the prima facie? Okay, so I'm getting a lot of questions on prima facie and why you got a second one. I hope you heard my first answer, which applies to this question. I'm still waiting on my work permit renewal, and my previous permit is expiring in 4 days. If you submitted your work permit renewal before the expiration date, your receipt should act as an extension, and you should see that right there on it. Okay, now this question makes more sense. Mumuni, you said you submitted a VAWA case 2 years ago with an I-765, and you have not received a work permit yet. The answer could definitely depend on whether or not you selected the correct category in your I-765. So without knowing that, that is most likely what the problem might be. If I'm married in Belarus, can I also remarry in the United States without getting a divorce here? If you're married, you're married. If you have a legal marriage, USCIS will recognize the reciprocity marriage of whatever country it is. There is something called the reciprocity schedule, which will tell you what a legal marriage is in all these different countries. So if US recognizes that as a legal marriage, you don't need to remarry again. Luck Tracy says, good morning, the best lawyer ever. Thank you so much. Yeah, Kennedy Closet, email me and tell me that this is Kennedy Closet so I know who it is. What is the normal processing time of a VAWA case in 2024? And is it possible to receive 5 PF letter? I don't know what that last part is, but a normal processing is anywhere from 2 to 3 years. You can fall anywhere within that window. Sometimes we have someone at exactly 2 years, 2 years and 24 months, 25 months, 26 months. It just depends. And it also depends on if your case gets an RFE for more information or something else. So all those things are taken into account, but that's the window. Liz, good morning. My VAWA was approved on 12/23. Medical was sent last week. What's next? Most likely, they will send you your green card. Once your medical is good, they'll most likely send you a green card. You know, someone did ask me every time they request a medical, does that guarantee that I won't get an interview? No, we've definitely had just maybe like a sprinkle where they ask for your medical, but they still want you to come for an interview. The interviews went fine, but sometimes they might just need to like clarify or verify something. One more question, and then I have to jump off. Can I still travel on my advanced parole if my green card is issued? No, instead you should be traveling on your green card. Okay. All right, guys. I know I have only been able to be live once a week. I have, when I tell you guys, I have interviews back to back. Last week, this week, I think next week is my first clear of no interviews that week. Well, knock on wood, we'll see whether I have one coming up. So I'm not sure that I'll be able to be on tomorrow because I have an interview tomorrow morning. Let me see. Yeah, so I will most likely not be on tomorrow morning, but I will see you guys next week. And you know, if you want to schedule a consultation, definitely call the office 407-995-6567. You can also WhatsApp 404-333-8751. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye.